So I've been working some more on the neck on this Hondo II made in Japan Strat style, and very, very nice fretboard. And I've been looking very closely to see, I'm not 100% sure what kind of wood this is, but it is definitely wood. It's not some sort of weird laminate or anything, because it has, you can see the wood grain, you can see the imperfections and so forth, and it's in overall very good shape. There was a tiny little bit down here that was getting dry. I make this myself. It is a Carnauba wax with oil cutting to give it the right consistency. And I work it into all sorts of different stuff, especially all those little, and even the little crack. It's just about gone. And so I'm going to keep working it into that. And great stuff. I've been oiling it all down, and as I've looked more and more at the finish on this, I do believe it is a paint job. It's not. I thought it was maybe like a laminate or something, because it's a very, very good faux paint job in terms of they painted it to look like wood grain. So it's got a very thick, hard white layer, and then they've got this yellow layer going up that it is inconsistent to look like wood grain. And it's very hard to catch on the camera exactly, but you can see what I'm talking about there. It's very well done. It looks like the wood grain, but the wood inside is actually darker. You can see, like, look how dark those holes are. It's because I think it might be mahogany. It's definitely a darker wood. It's not maple like it seems, but they're going for the Fender style, so they've got it painted to look like maple. Very well done. Another thing that I did here on the neck was that I closed in these holes around the truss hole there, the truss rod hole. Now, most Fender style will not have a cover, and I don't see the need for one, and so I filled those in, and I just used some wood filler, and then I used some acrylic paint to paint in here. You could see like the white, that thick white coat was around the edge, but you could still see the darker wood underneath, and so I used some good quality acrylic, some parchment color, so it's kind of a vintage white, and filled that, made that so it's a little more uniform in there, doesn't stand out, and did the holes in it. So they're still there, and there's still holes. I mean, it's not perfect match, but at a distance you don't see the holes anymore, and it just looks like a regular old Fender style right there. The tuners on this really don't need any work. Once again, I used the Carnauba. The Carnauba is actually really great for cleaning old chrome. It's non-abrasive, and you work it in, and a lot of the little, the beginnings of chrome rust flecks will just come right off. And it's very gentle and is great at de-rusting that old chrome. You can see there, those tuners really cleaned up nicely. Very, very nice. Something I still need to do is, before I put it all back together, is I'm going to take, these are called string trees, and they help to route to make sure you have tension on your higher strings up here. But they're way, way low. You see how low they are. And they don't need to be that low. The lower they are, the more tension they're going to have, and the more likely that they're going to kind of catch on the strings and give you tuning stability problems. Usually there's a little riser there, and so I'm going to take these out and check the depth of the screws and either install risers or do some sort of a just to rise those up, and make sure I'll probably use some more star bond in the hole as well to make sure it's nice and secure in there, because you don't want those ripping loose and so forth. Again, I've got the star bond in here, and so that is going to allow for, when I put it all back together, the screws, you got these big heavy duty, and these screws are actually in, like, remarkable shape. This was generally well kept. Considering this is 40 plus years old, it's somewhere in the 40 to 50 range, and it's really remarkably well kept. And somebody really cared for this instrument enough that they even glued the pick guard back together and stuff. And it's been played a decent amount, not a huge amount. There's, not massive wear on it, but there were some grooves where those were probably their favorite spots, particularly up here in first position, and there was a little bit of grooving down here around the 12. So I also, in working with the frets, I leveled them just lightly. I had checked all of this while it still had the strings on it before I took it apart to see if there's any real, problem areas, and the neck seemed fine, the fretwork seemed, competent. But of course, I'm leveling everything up. That's part of it. Is it's like it's a restoring beyond even the, the original quality. And so I've been spending time on getting all of the frets nice and dressed, and that involves rounding the ends and making sure everything is nice and smooth, crowning across to make sure you have a nice round, leveling, getting everything nice and even, and so forth. And so, working on that, which is super easy to do. One of the reasons I love bolt-ons is it just makes it so much easier. You can take the neck off and you can work on it so easily. And so this neck is a very, very nice neck. It's very well done. It's nicely weighted, and, again, doesn't show any significant signs of damage despite its age. And so this is going to be a really cool project. I'm really excited to see how it comes back together.